Hey Christian, I'm Lonnie. I do a Hot Rod TV, Lonnie's Hot Rod TV. Subscribe, you'll watch your truck as we do some of the build on it. Come around, let's do a walk around your truck. This thing has really got an excellent stance about it. The chop is really perfect. The bed is a perfect length for this truck. The way the headers come around and dump out right here, this is just really cool. You've got the window that still tilts out. The supercharger is just awesome. It just makes this motor, makes the build. There's a couple of things that we'll look at and we'll change on it. I've got a couple of welds I want to address. There's the drag link, which is the steering rod, is crooked and it's mounted on top. This is the drag link. It's at a severe angle, plus it could be mounted on the bottom. This would allow for the air compressor to be mounted underneath right here, so it won't take away from the motor itself. You can see this weld in the picture. So there's a couple of places that have some welds. I mean, we might not cut on that, but there's a couple welds on the rear end that I'd like to address and put a new weld on. Looks good. Looks really good. You can see your cowl opens up, your windshield opens up. There needs to be a gasket on here, so it'll be a nice seal. This has a nice seal on it, so that works. These are your blinkers. They're really cool. It's got a really nice finish, like a hot rod flat. Running the 32 grill shell and the 32 headlight. By the way, I like LED headlights. They give about a 6,000 Kelvin temperature, which is a nice bright white. They'll come on instantly. They don't take very much voltage to operate. An HID, you can go above 6,000, so you can go into the purple, the blues and purples. But they take so long to come up they actually take a long time to come up because they have a capacitor that brings them up. So I like the LEDs over the HIDs. So that's something that I'll try to suggest to you. The shock mounts, there's the rubber for the shock is torn up, it's bad. So both ends, so we need to replace that. There's a hole in the firewall back here where the wires are coming through, so we'll need to get a grommet for that. So right there's a hole. We'll get a grommet for that. Look at these bolts on the firewall. I don't know if you got a good picture of that. It gives it a real industrial vibe. I really like it. I dig it. So the master cylinder and pedal are mounted to this plate. It's a big aluminum plate. You see how thick it is. The pedal is really high inside the cab. But I can reproduce this plate and we can drop that down just a little bit. We got plenty of room here, so we can drop that down and make it more comfortable for you to go from gas pedal to brake pedal. So I think that'll be a really good addition to your car. So you got your nice dummy light there. Come on around. There's a little damage that happened, I guess, on a trailer. So we can knock that back into place. And if I can find the color of this hot rod flat, then I can touch that up. So here we are inside the car. I'm going to show you. You see the gas pedals here. You see how my heel's touching the floor? But to go to the brake pedal, I got to lift my foot to get to the brake pedal. So if I just lower that just a little bit, I can actually pivot and then push it right there. There's a little bit of movement in it. You can see that. So that's why I want to change that. All right, let's talk about, here, I'll pull this out of the way. Didn't know if you knew you had this, because this is kind of cool. So you got a removable steering wheel. We've got Dolphin gauges. The fuel gauge has got a crack in it, but I don't think it'll affect its performance. You've got a big space here in the center where we could put the controls for the air conditioner, and we could put a couple of vents. You have a little space here, but if we go with those retro or resto mod AC vents, there'd probably be two big ones right there that we could do, and we'll just block off the other thing. So we'll just run two vents. That'll be plenty enough for you. It'll still have defrost, and it'll still have heat. We can move like this push button down here. We got to do something with your wipers. I don't think you have any wipers in the car, but I've got a wiper that can go in there and make it all electric, and it'll run into these places, so it'll still work from the top and everything. And we can put a switch, a rotary switch down in there. You can see you've got your shifter here, and I know you want to do a different shifter, but this is a TCI shifter, so it kind of gives you the feel of what it's going to look like. It sounds like that there's either a line lock or already a trans brake already installed. So that's really cool. The seats are very comfortable. Feels really good in here. You can see from the door panel, I think it got a little moisture, and you can see how it kind of worked. So I've got my interior guy looking at that for you. There's nothing wrong with this, and you know, you can ride with this just fine. If you want to upgrade, or if you want to just replace what's here, we can talk about that. The headliner and other places in it are also a little warped, but it's just the kind of cardboard that was used. I can talk to you about leather. We could even talk to you about carpet too. I've got a really nice carpet that I use in my hot rod. All right, so this is the bed of the truck, and you see the proportion is just awesome. You'll love these louvers that are on the back, and you see how they've got these rivets in them. As far as the air conditioner vents that I was looking at, they have studs all the way around them, the vents and the controls. So I'll probably send you a picture of what I found. This is a Speedway spun aluminum fuel cell. There's not really a provision for a sending unit to go in it. So I'm going to look at options of what we have for a fuel tank, fuel cell. Inside the car, all this molding came with the car, and this is for the window. This is the U channel. It's felt, and the window rides up in it. So this is for the two doors. I've got some, this is the wiper. When the window rolls up, it rolls past this and it cleans it. And you'll see the back glass is actual glass, which is perfect, because we were talking, at least through the email, so somebody has taken plexiglass and they made a template, which is what I was talking about doing. So they made a template and they made a new glass back window. And then they made cardboard templates and they made the side glass. So I have the side glass already made, so all I got to do is fit it in the car. So this is great. This is great news. Great news. So that already came with your truck. This mirror came with your truck, but I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do with it. Are you going to tow the trailer? There's actually a place for it to mount on the door. It's kind of cool. So if you come over here, I'll show you something that I thought was kind of interesting. Let me move this box out of the way. All right, come here. So this truck has a buggy spring. So a buggy spring, that's a cool feature. That's what they ran in, 1932, my 32. They ran them all the way up to this 46 truck. It's a transverse mounted buggy spring. But what's neat is in front of this cross member, there are coil springs on that rear end too. So it's got a coil spring rear end with ladder bars and a buggy spring. I kind of figure that if I take this for a ride, it's going to be pretty rough. So I'm going to take it for a ride when it's not raining outside, and we'll see just how it rides and if I need to delete one or the other. I could easily take the coil springs out and put shocks there instead, and we could ride on the buggy spring and probably give you a better ride. But I don't know why they're running both. So we'll look into that. This is where some of the welds were that I'd like to re-weld. They've got some mounts that are on the rear end that are partially welded. I don't know if you can actually see it with the camera, so I'm going to shine a flashlight in there. But can you see anything? I'll shine on this side. So if you look down there, you can see some of the welds. Come this way. All right. Do you see the welds that are down there? So those welds that are holding that bracket on, I think they need to be a little, run over, re-welded is what I'm trying to say. So I don't think they're completed. You see how the top is not welded? Anyhow, so that's my thoughts on that. Let's see, what else? You got a good look of inside on the doors. Here's the glove box. So the air conditioner will go behind the glove box. So it'll take up some good real estate, but we'll have a little bit of room that we can make a little box in there for you. Right now you can see all the wiring. I'll have to move the fuse panel if you can get in there a little tighter. There's a fuse panel all the way against the firewall. And I'll have to reposition that when I put the air conditioner in. Tilt up this a little. Yeah, see it all there? So that's the fuse panel right there. So we'll reposition that, put your air conditioner in. It shuts really nice. So overall, beautiful truck. Love it. Oh, come back to the door locks. So the easiest thing to do is for me to put door locks where the key's right here, and it just changes out this door lock and it makes it lockable. You do have this extra key, so I'm not sure how that operates until I get into this door and see how that mechanism works. I've got a key place locally that I can have a key made if that still functions. If not, I can put in the door lock, and then that would lock this from moving, so you wouldn't be able to open the door. And you see you still have, you know, this style latch here. It's kind of cool. It's kind of a guillotine style. Onto the wheels. So these wheels are badass. They are, what were they? Two 65/70 R15. They got a nice look about them. These spiked lug nuts are badass. You got the beautiful beauty ring. It's just a really good look. You got the bead roll around the bed that kind of complements the wheel itself. So I think it looks good. If I was to do anything, I think I would put maybe a chrome dust cap. Maybe change that to a chrome dust cap. These probably could be painted, but they're bare metal. I don't know, they look good. It's a good looking wheel. It's a good look for the truck. Oh, on the air conditioner vents, Sinister Black. Sinister Black was the color I was looking at. So if you do look at them, Sinister Black for the vents, Sinister Black for the controls too. This belt's a little loose. You can see it move. I don't really see, what I do see is there's, right here, this looks like gas leaking. Yeah, it's gas leaking. So we probably have a gas leak from, I don't know, probably one of the carburetors. That's probably running down. I just have to figure out where. Short water pump. So when we buy our bracket, we need a short water pump. Well, look at the firewall again. Get a look at all those bolts. I don't know why they put bolts in there, but I love it. It gives it an industrial look. It's just really cool. Cool as hell. Something I noticed. The engine is solid mounted and the cab is solid mounted. So you're going to feel a lot of the engine vibration and the road. It's going to be a little bit of a rough ride. See, there's a solid mount. See, there's no cushion whatsoever. And then when I crawled under the truck, it's got aluminum body mounts instead of rubber body mounts. So this is going to make it where, you know, you're going to feel a lot of the road when you're driving. You know, it may bother you, it may not. You're going to feel the road. That's what I can say. Cool truck. Let's stay tuned and keep going.